Here is something that will change how you think about every single morning for the rest of your life. The first 5 minutes after you open your eyes could very well determine whether you thrive into your 90s or find yourself struggling before you even reach 75. This is not speculation or wishful thinking. This is the reality that most people over 60 completely fail to understand. Every single day, millions of seniors are unknowingly sabotaging their health, their energy, and their longevity before they even finish their morning coffee. They have no idea that the small, seemingly insignificant choices they make in those precious first moments of consciousness are silently stealing decades from their lives. The tragedy is that these mistakes are entirely preventable. The solutions are simple, cost nothing, and take almost no time at all. Yet most people will never learn them because nobody talks about this. Nobody explains that the difference between vibrant independence at 80 and dependence at 70 often comes down to what happens in those first 300 seconds after waking. Let me introduce you to a man named Richard. When Richard was 67 years old, he watched helplessly as his closest friends began their decline. One friend developed severe heart disease and could barely walk to his mailbox without becoming winded. Another friend started showing signs of memory loss, forgetting conversations they had just days earlier. A third friend lost his mobility entirely after a series of falls and spent his remaining years confined to a wheelchair. Richard assumed this was simply what happened when you got older. He assumed decline was inevitable, that his genetics would determine his fate, and that there was nothing he could do to change the trajectory of aging. He was completely wrong. Today, Richard is 77 years old, and he is thriving in ways that astonish everyone who knows him. He still lives independently in the same house he has occupied for 40 years. He drives himself wherever he needs to go without any restrictions or concerns. 3 times every single week, he volunteers at his local community garden, spending hours on his feet, bending, lifting, and engaging with other volunteers half his age. His doctors consistently tell him that his biological markers resemble someone 15 years younger than his actual age. When people ask Richard about his secret, they expect him to talk about expensive supplements or revolutionary medical treatments, or some rare genetic advantage that blessed his family line. But the truth is far simpler and far more accessible. Richard's family history actually worked against him. Most of his relatives never made it past 73. Heart disease, diabetes, and stroke claimed his father, his uncles, and his older brother, all before they reached what should have been their golden years. Richard was supposed to follow the same path. Instead, he discovered something that changed everything. The difference between Richard and his declining friends, the difference between Richard and his deceased relatives, came down to just 5 minutes. 5 simple adjustments he made to his morning routine in those first moments after opening his eyes. These small changes completely transformed his health trajectory, while others around him continued their decline. When I sat down with Richard and asked him to explain what made the difference, he leaned forward and said something I will never forget. He told me that everything happens in the first 5 minutes after you wake up. He said those minutes gave him his life, back when he thought his life was already winding down. But here is what most people never learn. While Richard was building habits that extended his life, most seniors his age were making 5 critical mistakes in those same 5 minutes. These are not minor oversights or harmless preferences. These are mistakes that silently accumulate damage day after day, year after year, stealing vitality and independence without any obvious warning signs. By the time most people realize something is wrong, the damage has already been done. Today, I am going to reveal exactly what these mistakes are and precisely what you should do instead. If you recognize yourself in any of these patterns, do not feel discouraged. Feel grateful that you are learning this now, while you still have time to change course. Every morning from this point forward is an opportunity to choose differently. The first mistake will probably shock you, because it involves something most people consider perfectly healthy. Eggs. Most people believe that eggs are one of the best breakfast choices available, and in many ways they are correct. Eggs provide high-quality protein, essential vitamins, and important nutrients that aging bodies desperately need. However, the way you are preparing your eggs every single morning is likely destroying up to 60% of the nutrition your body could be absorbing. You are eating the eggs, but your body is not receiving the benefits. This is a tragedy that plays out in millions of kitchens every single day. Consider what happened to a woman named Patricia. She is 73 years old and lives alone in a quiet suburb where she has resided for over 3 decades. For as long as she can remember, Patricia ate 2 hard-boiled eggs every single morning without fail. She believed she was doing everything right. High protein to maintain muscle mass, no added fats from frying, a simple, clean, healthy breakfast that her doctor would certainly approve of. She felt proud of her disciplined approach to nutrition. But when Patricia visited her physician for her annual checkup, the blood tests revealed something troubling. Her inflammation markers were elevated beyond normal ranges. Her cholesterol levels were not improving despite years of what she considered healthy eating. She complained to her doctor about feeling exhausted by noon every single day, needing to lie down and rest when she should have had energy to spare. Her doctor listened carefully and then asked one simple question that changed everything. He asked Patricia exactly how she was cooking her eggs each morning. She explained that she hard-boiled them until they were completely cooked through, assuming this was the healthiest possible method since it required no oil or butter. Her doctor shook his head slowly and explained the problem that Patricia had never considered. When you cook an egg until the yolk is completely solid and the white is firm throughout, the protein bonds tighten dramatically. They become so compact and rigid that your digestive system cannot break them down efficiently. The egg enters your stomach, but your body struggles to extract the nutrients locked inside those tightened protein structures. Scientific studies have demonstrated that hard-boiled eggs have a digestion and absorption rate of only 50 to 60%. This means that nearly half of the nutrition Patricia thought she was consuming was passing through her system completely unused, wasted, providing no benefit whatsoever to her aging body. But the problem extends beyond hard-boiled eggs to another common preparation method. If you are frying your eggs in oil or butter every morning, you are adding approximately 60% more fat and 50% more calories to what should be a healthy meal. That preparation method transforms eggs from a nutritional powerhouse into a fast track toward elevated cholesterol and unwanted weight gain. So what should you do instead? The answer is surprisingly simple. Prepare your eggs soft-boiled or poached so that the yolk remains slightly runny and the proteins maintain a looser structure. When prepared this way, your body can digest and absorb over 90% of the available nutrition. You are eating the same egg, but your body is actually receiving the benefits you intended. Patricia made this switch immediately after her doctor's advice. But her doctor also revealed something else that most people completely overlook. Eggs contain almost no vitamin C whatsoever. This essential nutrient is critical for absorbing iron, protecting your blood vessels from damage, and fighting the inflammation that accelerates aging. Without vitamin C alongside your eggs, you are missing a crucial component of complete nutrition. Patricia's doctor instructed her to pair her eggs with vitamin C-rich foods every single morning. Bell peppers, steamed broccoli, sliced kiwi, or even a small portion of fermented vegetables like kimchi or sauerkraut. Within 3 months of making these simple adjustments, Patricia's energy returned completely. Her inflammation markers dropped to normal ranges. Her cholesterol finally began improving after years of frustration. Tomorrow morning, try this approach yourself. 2 soft-boiled eggs with steamed broccoli and a few slices of colourful bell pepper. This combination provides a complete, balanced breakfast that your body can actually utilise fully. The second mistake that silently destroys the health of seniors every single morning involves something most people never consider a health issue at all: social isolation. Here is a fact that should alarm you. Social isolation damages your body as severely as smoking 15 cigarettes every single day. This is not an exaggeration designed to capture your attention. This is established scientific fact supported by decades of rigorous research. Harvard University conducted one of the longest studies on human health ever attempted, following participants for over 80 years to understand what truly determines longevity and well-being. Among their most striking findings was this revelation about morning social connection. People who engage in meaningful social interaction before 10 o'clock in the morning have a 29% lower mortality rate compared to those who remain isolated during those early hours. The reason behind this dramatic difference involves your body's fundamental biology. Morning social connection activates specific neurotransmitters that improve cardiovascular function and enhance immune response throughout the entire day. When you connect with another human being in those first hours of consciousness, your body receives signals that trigger protective mechanisms lasting until you fall asleep that night. Skip that connection, and your body operates in a diminished state for the next 16 hours. Consider a woman named Yoshiko who lived to 98 years old in a small village in rural Japan, one of those remarkable communities where people regularly live past 90 while maintaining their independence and cognitive sharpness. Researchers travelled to her village specifically to understand why the residents there seemed to defy normal aging patterns. They studied diet, exercise, environment, and dozens of other variables. But when they interviewed Yoshiko about her daily routine, one habit stood out above all others. Every single morning before doing anything else, before eating breakfast or tending her garden or beginning her daily tasks, Yoshiko stepped outside her front door and greeted her neighbours. Sometimes these interactions lasted only 2 minutes. Sometimes they involved nothing more profound than exchanging observations about the weather or asking about someone's grandchildren. But they happened every single morning without exception. When researchers measured Yoshiko's inflammation levels and stress hormones, they discovered something remarkable. She was biologically decades younger than isolated seniors of the same chronological age. Her body was operating as if she were in her 70s, while her birth certificate showed she was approaching 100. When asked to explain what she believed contributed to her extraordinary longevity, Yoshiko answered simply and directly. She said that if she did not talk to someone in the morning, she felt empty for the entire day. She believed that greeting each other every morning was the primary reason her community lived so long. But here is the tragic reality facing most seniors in modern society. The majority wake up completely alone. They eat breakfast in silence. They do not speak to another human being until noon, if they speak to anyone at all that day. This isolation feels normal because it has become routine. But that does not make it any less deadly. The silence is slowly killing them, even though they cannot feel it happening. So what can you do if you recognize this pattern in your own life? If you have family members living in your home, do not simply pass by them during your morning routine. Stop. Look them in the eyes. Say good morning and mean it. Ask how they slept. Share a genuine moment of connection before everyone scatters to their separate activities. This takes less than 60 seconds, but provides benefits lasting the entire day. If you live alone, establish a habit of calling a friend or family member every single morning. Even 3 minutes of conversation makes a measurable difference to your health. If making phone calls feels too demanding or intrusive, find other ways to connect. Greet your neighbour when you step outside. Exchange a few words with the barista at your local coffee shop. Chat briefly with the cashier at the convenience store where you buy your newspaper. These interactions might seem trivial, but they signal something profound to your body and brain. They communicate that you are connected, that you belong to a community, that you are not alone in the world. Tomorrow morning, reach out to someone. Anyone. The conversation does not need to be long or deep or particularly meaningful. It simply needs to be real. Your heart will feel the difference, and your body will respond with protective mechanisms that could add years to your life. The third mistake involves something so basic that most people never give it a second thought. Water. Here is a fact that should genuinely frighten you. After 8 hours of sleep, your blood reaches its thickest, most viscous point of the entire 24-hour cycle. Think carefully about what this means. For 8 hours, you consumed not a single drop of liquid. During those same 8 hours, your body continuously lost fluids through breathing, through perspiration, through every biological process that kept your organs functioning while you slept. By the time morning arrives, your blood has become sluggish, sticky, moving slowly through veins and arteries that desperately need efficient circulation. Your heart must work significantly harder to push this thickened blood through your system. Your brain receives inadequate oxygen because blood cannot reach it quickly enough. Your kidneys struggle to filter waste products without sufficient fluid to carry those toxins away. This physiological state explains precisely why strokes and heart attacks occur most frequently between 6 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock in the morning, particularly among people over 65. Your cardiovascular system is operating under maximum stress during those exact hours, and most people make it worse by reaching for coffee instead of water. A woman named Eleanor learnt this lesson through frightening personal experience. At 71 years old, Eleanor suffered from chronic kidney problems that her doctors could not seem to resolve. She experienced extreme fatigue that made every day feel like an exhausting struggle. Her memory had grown unreliable, with names and appointments slipping away no matter how hard she tried to retain them. Her physicians had begun discussing the possibility of dialysis, a prospect that terrified her and seemed to signal the beginning of her final decline. Then one perceptive doctor asked Eleanor a question that no one had thought to ask before. He wanted to know what she did first thing every morning immediately after waking. Eleanor explained that she went to the bathroom, then walked to her kitchen to make coffee. The doctor pressed further, asking when she actually drank water. Eleanor admitted that she eventually had some water, usually after finishing breakfast, sometimes not until mid-morning. The doctor immediately identified the problem that had evaded detection for years. By the time Eleanor consumed any water, her body had been severely dehydrated for over 9 hours. Her kidneys were attempting to function without adequate fluid. Her blood was thick and struggling to circulate. Her brain was foggy because it was not receiving sufficient hydration to operate properly. The solution her doctor prescribed cost nothing and took less than 1 minute to implement. He told Eleanor that tomorrow morning, before she even placed her feet on the floor, she should drink 16 ounces of room temperature water with a quarter of a fresh lemon squeezed into it. The doctor explained why room temperature water matters so much in the morning. Cold water causes blood vessels to constrict, which is precisely the opposite of what your body needs upon waking. Your cardiovascular system is desperate for improved circulation after 8 hours of stillness. Cold water slows that process when you need acceleration. The lemon provides potassium, vitamin C, and natural compounds that help flush toxins your liver work to filter throughout the night. Lemon also activates digestive enzymes and helps relax arterial walls, improving blood flow throughout your system. Eleanor followed these instructions faithfully, drinking 1 glass of warm lemon water every single morning before doing anything else. Within 1 month, her kidney function tests improved by 28%. Her physician was genuinely stunned when he reviewed the laboratory results. He asked Eleanor what medication she had changed to produce such dramatic improvement. She told him she had changed nothing except adding water in the morning. Tonight, before you go to sleep, fill a glass with room temperature water and place it on your nightstand within easy reach. Tomorrow morning, before your feet touch the floor, drink that entire glass. Not coffee, not tea, not juice, water. Perform this simple ritual every single day for the rest of your life. Your kidneys will thank you. Your heart will thank you. Your brain will thank you. This single habit could be the difference between thriving at 80 and struggling at 70. The 4th deadly mistake happens in the moments immediately after waking, and it causes more injuries among seniors than almost any other morning behaviour. Picture what happens in your body during 8 hours of horizontal rest. Blood pools in your lower extremities. Your joints stiffen from lack of movement. Your circulation slows to a minimal maintenance level. Your blood pressure drops to its lowest point of the day. Then, suddenly, without warning, you jolt yourself upright. You swing your legs over the side of the bed. You stand up quickly and immediately begin walking toward the bathroom. What happens next has devastated countless seniors who never saw the danger coming. Your blood pressure drops precipitously as gravity pulls blood away from your brain. Your mind does not receive enough oxygen to function properly. You feel suddenly dizzy, disoriented, unstable. In mild cases, you grab something nearby and steady yourself until the sensation passes. In severe cases, you lose your balance entirely and fall before you can catch yourself. Falls represent one of the most dangerous events in any senior's life. A fall is never simply an inconvenience or an embarrassing moment. For people over 65, falls frequently result in fractures, head injuries, and a cascade of complications that permanently reduce independence and quality of life. A man named Bernard experienced this nightmare firsthand at 75 years old. One ordinary morning, Bernard woke to the sound of his telephone ringing. Without thinking, he threw back his covers and rushed out of bed to answer before the caller hung up. Within seconds of standing, he felt the room spinning around him. He reached for his dresser to stabilize himself, but his hand missed the edge. He crashed to the floor, his hip taking the full impact of the fall. That single moment changed the entire trajectory of Bernard's remaining years. He fractured his hip severely, requiring surgery and months of rehabilitation. He spent 6 months in physical therapy relearning how to walk. He lost the independence he had maintained his entire adult life. He never fully recovered his confidence, always fearful that another fall awaited him. His physical therapist shared wisdom that should be common knowledge, but tragically remains unknown to most seniors. She told Bernard that he should never get out of bed quickly, because his body simply was not ready for rapid movement after hours of stillness. Here is what you should do instead every single morning for the rest of your life. When you first wake up, resist every urge to jump out of bed immediately. Roll gently onto your side first, then slowly push yourself up to a sitting position using your arms for support. Sit on the edge of your bed for at least 30 seconds, allowing your blood pressure to stabilize and your circulation to adjust to the vertical position. While sitting, take 3 slow, deep breaths to oxygenate your system. Then, perform simple movements to wake up your circulation before standing. Rotate your ankles 10 times in each direction. Gently flex and extend your knees several times. Roll your shoulders backward 5 times, then forward 5 times. These small movements signal to your brain that you are preparing to move. They activate circulation that has been dormant for hours. They transition your body from sleep mode to movement mode gradually, rather than abruptly. Only after completing these preparations should you slowly stand up, holding on to something stable if necessary. This entire process takes less than 2 minutes, but those 2 minutes could save your life and preserve your independence for decades to come. After standing, before walking away from your bed, perform 10 slow heel raises. Lift your heels off the ground, hold for 1 second, then lower them slowly with control. This simple movement pumps blood from your legs back toward your heart and brain, creating a natural circulation reset that prepares you for the day ahead. Tomorrow morning, take your time. Your body has been still for 8 hours. Give it the opportunity to wake up properly before demanding that it perform. The 5th deadly mistake involves something you probably do every single morning without questioning whether it serves your health or destroys it. Breakfast. Let me ask you directly, what did you eat this morning when you sat down at your kitchen table? If your answer involves toast and coffee, we need to have a serious conversation. If you ate cereal with milk, the same problem applies. If you consumed a bagel with cream cheese or a muffin from the bakery down the street, the situation is even worse than you realize. These foods share one devastating characteristic. They are all refined carbohydrates that spike your blood sugar immediately upon consumption. The moment these foods enter your digestive system, your blood glucose levels surge dramatically. Your pancreas responds by flooding your bloodstream with insulin. Your body shifts into fat storage mode. Within 2 hours, you feel hungry again because your blood sugar has crashed just as dramatically as it rose. But the visible hunger represents only a fraction of the damage occurring inside your body. That sudden blood sugar spike creates inflammation throughout your cardiovascular system. It damages the delicate lining of your arteries. It accelerates aging at the cellular level in ways that accumulate silently over months and years. Research conducted at leading nutrition laboratories demonstrates that people who consume high-protein, high-fiber breakfasts experience 64% less cellular damage compared to those who eat refined carbohydrates each morning. The difference is staggering and entirely within your control. A man named William discovered this truth at 69 years old when his physician delivered news he never expected to hear. William was not overweight, he exercised regularly, and considered himself reasonably healthy for his age. Yet his blood tests revealed prediabetes. His inflammation markers were climbing toward dangerous levels. His doctor warned him directly that without significant changes, he would require diabetes medication within 2 years. William refused to accept that fate. He examined his daily habits, searching for what he could modify, and he discovered that his breakfast had remained essentially unchanged for decades. Toast with butter, coffee with sugar, sometimes a bowl of sweetened cereal when he wanted variety. He was starting every single day by poisoning his metabolic system. William transformed his morning meal completely. Instead of toast and coffee, he began eating Greek yogurt topped with fresh berries and a handful of walnuts. Some mornings he prepared scrambled eggs with spinach and sliced avocado. Other days he enjoyed steel-cut oatmeal with chia seeds and blueberries stirred throughout. 6 months after making this single change, William returned for follow-up blood work. His results had normalized completely. His inflammation markers had dropped to healthy ranges. His energy remained stable throughout the day, without the crashes he had previously accepted as inevitable. His physician was genuinely astonished and asked what new medications William had added to his regimen. The answer was none. William had simply changed his breakfast. The formula for a perfect morning meal is straightforward. Combine protein with fiber and healthy fat at every breakfast. Protein options include eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or plant-based alternatives. Fiber sources include berries, oats, chia seeds, spinach, or any vegetables you enjoy. Healthy fats come from avocado, walnuts, almonds, or olive oil drizzled over your food. The critical rule you must follow without exception is this: no refined carbohydrates before 10 o'clock in the morning. No white bread, no sugary cereals, no pastries, no bagels. These foods trigger insulin spikes that damage your blood vessels and accelerate the aging process with every single bite. Now I promised you 5 mistakes, but I want to provide additional value by sharing 2 bonus habits that the healthiest seniors practice every single morning without fail. Bonus habit number 6 involves something you do thousands of times daily without conscious thought. Breathing. Most people wake up and immediately begin worrying about their responsibilities, their problems, their endless to-do lists. Their stress hormones start climbing before their feet even touch the floor. Cortisol floods their system, triggering inflammatory responses that persist throughout the entire day. A man named Arthur struggled with this pattern for years. At 80 years old, he battled high blood pressure and chronic anxiety that no medication seemed to control effectively. Then a friend introduced him to a simple breathing technique that transformed his mornings completely. The method is called 4-7-8 breathing, and it takes less than 1 minute to perform. You breathe in slowly through your nose for 4 seconds, filling your lungs completely. You hold that breath for 7 seconds, allowing oxygen to saturate your bloodstream. Then, you exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds, making a gentle whooshing sound as the air leaves your body. You repeat this cycle 3 or 4 times, requiring only 30 seconds of your morning. Arthur performed this breathing practice every morning immediately after drinking his water. Within 3 months, his blood pressure dropped significantly without any medication adjustments. His stress hormone levels normalized. His doctor asked what new treatment he had started, and Arthur explained that he had simply learned to breathe differently. Research demonstrates that people who practice intentional morning breathing show 48% lower cellular stress markers compared to those who skip this simple practice. They also display improved heart rate variability, which represents one of the most reliable indicators of cardiovascular health and longevity. Bonus habit number 7 involves directing your attention toward appreciation rather than anxiety. Researchers discovered that when seniors practice specific gratitude exercises every morning, measurable changes occur in their brain structure. The prefrontal cortex begins displaying activity patterns typically seen in people decades younger. A woman named Catherine experienced this transformation personally. At 73, she struggled with persistent high blood pressure and depression that multiple medications failed to resolve adequately. Then, she learnt about morning gratitude practice and decided to experiment with this simple approach. Every morning after completing her breathing exercises, Catherine would place her hand gently over her heart and think of 3 specific things her body had done for her. Not vague, general gratitude, but precise appreciation for particular functions. She would think about how grateful she felt that her eyes allowed her to see her grandchildren's faces clearly. She appreciated that her legs still carried her from room to room independently. She thanked her heart for beating faithfully throughout another night, while she slept unaware. Within 3 months of this daily practice, Catherine's blood pressure stabilized without medication changes. Her heart rate variability improved by 31%. Her inflammation markers dropped substantially. Her physician was stunned by the improvement and assumed she had altered her prescriptions. She explained that she had simply started thanking her body every morning. Studies confirm that morning gratitude practice reduces cortisol levels, improves immune function, and slows cognitive decline. People who practice gratitude regularly experience lower rates of heart disease and demonstrate stronger emotional resilience when facing life's inevitable challenges. Let me summarize everything we have covered today. 5 deadly mistakes and 2 bonus habits that could transform your mornings and extend your life by decades. First, stop overcooking your eggs and start eating them soft-boiled with vitamin C-rich foods. Second, drink 16 ounces of warm lemon water before consuming anything else each morning. Third, take 2 full minutes to wake your body gently before standing. Fourth, eliminate refined carbohydrates from your breakfast and choose protein, fiber, and healthy fats instead. Fifth, connect with another human being every single morning, even briefly, and if possible, add 30 seconds of intentional breathing followed by 1 minute of specific gratitude. 7 habits requiring only 5 minutes total. Richard followed these practices faithfully. At 67, he was declining alongside his peers. At 77, he is thriving while others continue struggling. You possess the same capacity for transformation starting tomorrow morning. Begin with just 1 habit. Perhaps the water, perhaps the eggs. Choose 1 practice, make it automatic through daily repetition, then add the next habit. If this information provided value, subscribe to WISECARE and turn on notifications so you never miss future guidance. Share this video with someone you love, your parents, your spouse, your friends, anyone who deserves to know these truths. Drop a comment below telling me which habit you will start tomorrow morning. Thank you for watching, stay strong, stay independent, and I will see you in the next video.